Hi there crafters, Amy here with Amy's Wares, and today I'm going to make an easy, heartfelt sympathy card. Now this Big Feathers is a brand new stencil, part of the January release at a Colorful Life Designs. It is gorgeous, and here's a photo of the finished card to show you the direction that we're headed, but this came together super easily, and it's one of my favorite stencils from this release. I just combined it with some simple stamping, and there you go, a gorgeous, heartfelt sympathy card. Now this Big Feather stencil, like I said, is part of the January release, so there's loads of new stencils to check out. Be sure to use my coupon AMYFAN10 at checkout if you do shop, because you'll save 10% on your complete order. Also new to the shop this month is the blingage. So if you've ever ordered from a Colorful Life Designs, you may have gotten some nice little samples of really adorable flat-backed sequins, just as a little sample and a little extra thank you on your order. Well, now those are available in bigger quantities in the shop for sale. So be sure to check out that variety of those, and you can also still use my coupon AMYFAN10. So here I'm just using some residual ink on my blending brushes because I want this to be really subtle. I'm using some teal and some brown that's left over on my brushes just because I want it to be soft and not too stark in your face. So here I decide to use this amazing stamp set from MFT. If it's still available, I'll link it below. I got it rather recently, and it's some of the most unique and gorgeous sympathy sentiments I've ever seen. So I had to have it right away. And I am going to stamp one of those on the front of the card as well as on the inside of the card. And I'm just loading up my mini Misty here, and then I will position one of these stamps kind of towards the top center. I'm just figuring out which one I want to use. But I'm going to use the same, or one of my brown colors, which is now available in minis. If you followed along at all with Catherine Pooler, the mini stamp sets or stamp pads would usually come out after the fact, but now she has the entire release available in the minis as well as the neutrals. So I was very excited to kind of, round out my collection having some neutrals from her as well. So I'm using that grid transparency. I believe I got that from Simon Says Stamp. I will try and remember to link it below. But if you're interested in any of the products that I used, expand underneath the video and scroll down, and that's where you will find all the details for the products that I used. And if you do follow my links and their affiliate links, it will be no additional cost to you, but it will pay me a small commission, which really does help me out a lot. So here on the inside, I decided to not only stamp one of the sentiments, but I do come back in, as you saw in the photo, and do some very simple stenciling on the inside as well. This is a really easy way to continue the design onto the inside of the card, just by using your stencil again, just even lighter handed and maybe not completely covering the surface, just to kind of continue on onto the inside of the card. Now this one was a little bit tricky just because I was trying to stay within a couple of the feathers. I did get a little bit of an outline on the feather next to it, but I didn't mind. I felt like it still looked okay. So here I'm just lining it up. I decided to do a second feather. Again, just using residual ink from the blending brush and going very light-handed because I wanted even more subtle than the front of the card. Now here you could see my card was sticking down really well. That's my new waffle flower sticky mat. So I am very pleased with it, having it in my Misty. It does help kind of hold down my card bases really well, so I don't have to rely so much on the magnets. It holds the card base down or the panel so I can stamp and not have it shift on me. So that is a really good thing about this new waffle flower sticky mat, that I'm pleased to have that in my full-size Misty. So here I'm just wiping off the stencil, and setting that aside, and then reinforcing the crease on my card base with my bone folder. And here I'm going to pick out some blingage. So like I was saying, new to the shop, you can get all these awesome sequin sets. Well, they're not true sequins, I guess, because they don't have a hole in the center. They're really cool. They're multiple sizes and they're flat back. And she puts that cute little sticker card bling on it. So I have, it's almost like a pearly white one that I have from the shop. I'm just going to put that down because it's nice and subtle. I don't want to go too flashy or too in your face just because it is a sympathy card. But I'm going 3 on the bottom, 2 on the top, just because I find odd numbers more visually appealing. And then I decided to add a little bit extra by rounding the edges. This is my corner, so that will kind of give it another little subtle design element. And then here finally I decided to use a white gel pen just to draw some accents, like lines and a few little dots just on a couple of the leaves, just to give it a little something extra. So this is single layer. It'll be nice and flat, easy to ship. I recommend having sympathy cards on hand so you have them when you need them, just so if you're grieving the loss of somebody, you don't have to go to the trouble of creating something maybe if your headspace isn't there. So thank you so much for spending time with me. I hope you enjoyed this. Be sure to check out the January release, plus all the new blingage, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks.